Well, a very good afternoon. In the same series that we have been talking about Henry Derozio's poems, we have already discussed the Harp of India. Now, moving to the next, India to My Native Land. Right, both of the poems are talking about almost a similar thing, and the major theme of the text is nationalism. Right, both of the poems is nationalism. Right, and as I have already talked about, is that all the strugglers, the entire narrative of freedom struggle is based upon this particular fact that India had a past glory, right? But that has suspended, or that has completely been fallen simply because it has been changed by the contemporary British rule, right? So, in a similar manner, they wanted to reinstate the glorious past of India, right? And this is precisely this particular poem is talking about. Henry Derozio is talking about here, right? It's a kind of nationalism that it has been propagating, right? So the poem begins like my country, right? And here the reference of my country is India, right? In thy days of glory past, right? It refers that my country, that is India, when you when it was a time of your past, that is, it was full of glory. In the days of in thy days of glory past, right? Means earlier, before the Britishers have arrived, right? Earlier, a beauteous halo circled round thy brow, right? It says that earlier, your a kind of halo. You understand the kind of aura that somebody carries, right? So the country carried a kind of an aura, right? It is being called as beauteous halo, right? Earlier, your past is quite glorious, right? So you had that kind of an aura around yourself, and worshipped as a deity thou wast, right? And you were lastly worshipped as a deity, right? So India is being represented as kind of a god, right? It has certain kind of a glory, right? It has certain kind of an halo, right? So you can relate it with contemporary image of Bharat Mata, right? So it's a kind of a deity. It has certain kind of glory. It has halo around itself, right? Beauteous. Its kind of an aura is there, right? So it was a kind of a deity which was there. India was, right, having a lot of glory, lot of happiness, lot of beauteous form, etc., etc. But the point of lamentation here arrives is what it says, where is thy glory? Now, if I look at you, we do not find any glory that was there in the past still existing. Where this glory has gone? When where the reverence now, where the respect that you carried earlier, the kind of reverence, where has that gone now, right? And the indication is very clear that since the Britishers have arrived, they have completely taken away the glory, the reverence, right, of the country, that is India, right? So it's a kind of a lamentation. So he's wailing of the loss of glory and reverence of the country once it has been colonized by the Britishers, right? The eagle pinnace chained down at last, right? So India is being represented here as again a kind of an eagle, right, which was flying in the sky very high with utmost freedom, right? But now what happened is that its pinion, its wings have completely been chained down, but the country has completely been made a slave. It no more has the freedom, right? So eagles symbolizes freedom, right, of going anywhere in the sky, wandering, freely where it wanted. But now it has been pinned down, right? It has been chained down, right? Country doesn't have that of freedom of that is being represented through eagle, right? And groveling in the lowly dust art thou, and your spirit, your art, it has been completely been in the lowly dust, right? Gardish, right? So the country has completely been brought down to its knees, right? And who had brought them down? The Britishers, who have colonized the country, right? Thy minstrel hath no wreath to weave for thee, save the sad story of thy misery, right? And the poets who were earlier singing the glorious past of the country, right, have nothing else to sing, right, to read and weave other than the sad story of your misery, right? That means contemporary poets are engaged in just uh, expressing the grief and sadness, right, of yours in contemporary times. Means there's nothing to be celebrated about you anymore at this particular moment, right? So it's completely been uh, a poem of lamentation. It's a kind of an elegy, right? But towards the end of the poem, it provides certain kind of hope, right? And well, let me dive into the depths of time, right? Here this hope is brought about, right? He says that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to relook at the past. Let me dive into the depths of time. Let me go back, right, into the depths of time and bring from out the ages, right? Means let me find out the literature and culture that has been presented in India for ages, right? Let me bring from out the ages that have rolled a few small fragments of these wrecks sublime, right? And find out certain kind of sublime things, right? Which human eye may never more behold, right? Which human eye could have not ever seen. That means India had that kind of past literature, culture, and other things which contemporary people could have not seen it. Let me revive them. Let me find out them. Let me go back to the time again and reinstate those things. And let the garden of my labor be, and let my efforts, right, of my labor, the rewards, the achievement of my labor be my fallen country one kind of wish for thee. And that is kind, my kind country, my fallen country. Let me have a wish. And what kind of wish is that? The restoration, reinstating of literature and culture of the past may bring about certain kind of hope in contemporary times, right? This is precisely what he's been talking about. So as I talked about, is one of the agendas of the post-colonial writers is to reinstate the glorious past of the country, and on the basis of that, to negotiate with the the masters, right, that we have in a civilized country, right? Of course, you know white man's pattern, right? They say that any other country other than Europe doesn't have any civilization, and this particular poem is trying to negotiate with them that we had a civilized civilization. In fact, you have come and made us barbarous. If you have any query, you can just drop me an email, right, or WhatsApp. Thank you.